We're here to set the stage for all of the different workshops and conversations we're going to have today. But first, could you just share with us a little bit about yourself in 1 or 2 sentences?
Happy to be here today, and looking forward to sharing and learning from other panelists and everybody out here too. So I'm Jeff Fox. I have the awesome pleasure and responsibility of running Abilities First, which is a nonprofit organization that was established in 1962 in Dutchess County. So it's been a long journey. I've been in the driver's seat for about 12 years now and been doing this work my entire life. I started in the Finger Lakes region. My very first job in the field working with people with disabilities was as a lifeguard. And I've done practically everything there is to do in this field and kind of worked my way up. So part of the reason I'm here today is because we employ around 700 people in Dutchess and Orange counties. And it is incredibly difficult these days to recruit talented people and retain them. As a nonprofit organization that is government funded, we are entirely reliant on the state and the federal government to manage our price points. So what we get paid is not within our control, as opposed to for-profit companies that have the ability to raise their prices to cover rising costs. We don't have that ability. So we are heavily involved, and I know you're going to hear from Randy too, who is as well, in advocacy, with state and federal governments to protect what we do. So developmental disability affects roughly 3 to 5% of the population, a very small slice. So it's incredibly important for us, and it's part of the reason I'm here talking with you today. How do we reach that other 95%? If it's not a personal issue for you or a family member or somebody that's close to you, how do we get people to care and realize that it's an important thing that needs investment? So looking forward to talking to you some more and getting to know you and throughout the day.
Thank you.
I'm Randy Rios-Castro. I'm the CEO for Joanio. We're a human service agency that provides lifespan services in both Westchester and Rockland County. I've been in the field for over 25 years in multiple roles, so I really got to know my way around the disability field. Joanio is a pretty large provider, and we serve both people with developmental disabilities, mental health challenges, and chronic medical conditions. So our employment services kind of span all of those areas, and one of the reasons why I wanted to participate today is to stress the importance of employing people with disabilities. They can work. They're probably some of the most valued employees you can have, and to just stress to everybody here that imagine all the things that they can do and be a part of and participate in, and we see it at Joanio every day, and if you come to our session, you'll hear a lot more about all of the work we've done to employ people with disabilities, both in community settings through various businesses, as well as our own social enterprises. So we're going to talk a lot about that later on this afternoon.
Thank you.
Yeah, I'm Peter Van Geldern. I'm an environmental architect and a professor, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you all for coming. And Kristin, I know that joke. I know that story. My family tells that story, but it's a turkey. So we're all here to do something new, and I'm here with my team for Future. So we'll be in the housing track today. So I'm really surrounded by some of the best professionals in our space, which is regenerative housing. So we'll really dive deep today, and I invite you to, if you're interested in this topic, of housing and the difference it makes regionally or in the world, we're in room for. But for myself, I'm really ignited by the question of how workforce and housing go together. So our team's really been diving into that. So I'm really excited to share our exploration and learning and how we're going to put it all together. So thank you.
Yeah, we'll come back to that.
How are you? My name is Adam Roche. I'm the director for Dutchess County Office of Veterans Affairs. I served in the United States Marine Corps Infantry Machine Gunner for 4.5 years. I now represent, advocate for the 13,000 plus veterans here in Dutchess County. And Kristin, thank you so much for inviting us to be part of this this panel and this entire day with all of you. We're excited to share some of the resources that we have here in Dutchess County and share with you our success stories as far as employment and also our failures as well. And we love to hear positive feedback from all of you, because what we're all here is to make it better, and that's what our main goal is. And thank you all.
Thank you for being here.
My name is Joseph Horesky. I'm the VETTAP program manager at Mental Health America, which is our employment program. I've been doing this for about 5 years. It started as the vet-to-vet program specialist, our peer services. I'm just here to learn from everybody else as well and tell you what we've been doing, tell you what's working, what's not, and see how we can improve, because we're constantly trying to improve.
Thank you, everybody. My next questions are for Jeff and Randy. What worries you the most about the future of work, and how can day services be reimagined to allow those with intellectual developmental disabilities to move along the continuum with the ultimate goal of employment? What can be done to improve work opportunities among people with disabilities?
Wow, that's a big question. There's just so many different things that can be done to improve the lives of the people that we're supporting. When you look at what the traditional day program looks like, people come in, they're learning their daily living skills, they get maybe a touch into the community, and there's just so much more out there for them. And at Joanio, we really try hard to move people along that continuum of services. So in terms of what can be done, and you'll hear a lot more in depth this afternoon, but we can develop our own businesses, right? And we can integrate those sites with both people with disabilities and not, and have them be fully engaged in their community, working in a variety of spaces. So people think about individuals with disabilities and what they typically see them doing. You got to kind of think a lot broader than that. It's not about these little jobs that can be done and what used to be piecework and workshops. It's so much more than that. They can be valued members of their community, working in stores, in retail spaces, in offices, in finance departments, and we just have to kind of think about where their skills lie and really work at pulling that out of what they excel in and then pushing them into the businesses that that they'll succeed. So I think that there's a lot of agencies in New York that are doing this. We have our cleaning company, we have our Brick It Again Lego resale store where we're doing it. We have a lot of other ideas to kind of push that along, and we're hoping to get more funding so we can do more social businesses like that.
So in order to find somebody employment, we need community partners. So while we provide services to people, part of our mission is to work with the community, work with local government, work with businesses to create opportunities for employment. So we can't accomplish our mission without the help of the community. However, I'll say that opportunities, for example, a business that's willing to hire somebody that we support, we have a long list of opportunities out there. What we don't have is a lot of staff members who are able to go out and help a person with work. Again, that's where we fall short at this point, our ability to hire and retain people. The other thing I'll say is that last year the governor declared New York as an employment-first state, which we wholly agree with. And part of what that is going to mean is state agencies working together to try to improve employment opportunities for people with disabilities. Most importantly, the New York State Office for People with Developmental Disabilities, which is responsible for adult services, and the State Education Department. Because I will tell you that even though federal law requires school districts to plan for kids 15 years old and older to figure out what they're going to do after school, we do a dismal job of doing that. It's very poorly done, in many cases not done at all. And at this point, when a school district is cited for doing this poorly, they're required to engage with family and community engagement centers to provide training, to their staff. All the other school districts, which is the majority, are it's optional for them, So one of the things that we're doing now, and Randy and I are both involved in, a legislative appointed committee, is to try to compel the state education department to require school districts to engage in this kind of training. I mean, too often it happens where, we get calls from parents who have young adults with disabilities who've made it through the entire education process and have graduated and have no idea what OPWDD is and have never heard of, adult services. Well, we've lost our opportunity there. And I will tell you that, not only is it the right thing to do, but what it costs, the burden on the state to support somebody who's, say, living in their own apartment and working in the community is an absolute fraction of what it costs to support somebody who's living in a state-certified residence and attending, a certified, day program. So we can do way better. We can do way better.
Well, I'd like to hear from both of you in just a couple, 30 to 60 seconds each. If you could say something about how we could inspire greater public support for this work and what messaging or strategies can help shift public perception, in your opinion?
I think that business owners need to give our workers a chance. I will tell you that they are the most dependable people you will ever hire. Our average retention rate is 7 years for the people that we've placed in employment sites. So give them a shot, let them come in. They come with supports for as long as they're needed. And, they're going to impress you. They are very engaging, especially with the community. They get to know everybody. They become valued members of their sites, their work sites, and they just need a shot. And I think that, to Jeff's point, New York State becoming an employer-first state is very important. They've invested in this because they're doing career-specific vocational training programs. They've awarded agencies money to do that. And we actually were awarded one for our retail boot camp. So there's a lot that's happening. We just need the businesses that are in the communities to, give our folks a shot, and they're going to impress you.
Quickly, I don't know how many of you remember the Willowbrook scandal, which was, Willowbrook was an institution in the 1970s that had been exposed for really horrible treatment of people with disabilities. And that was just one. There were many other institutions around New York State that were doing the exact same things. And once that was exposed, it got a lot of attention. And at that point in time, your average New York State voter felt like it was important, to take care of people with disabilities, right? And that led to a couple of decades where New York State placed priority on people with disabilities, that they deserve humane treatment, that they deserve rights and opportunities. And I just encourage those of you here and everybody, in New York State, not to let that priority slide backwards. So that's what we need to do.
These are all such incredible points. You know, I work with a lot of business owners who say things like, nobody wants to work these days, and there are nobody to fill the jobs, and people are lazy, and all these things. But on the other hand, we're connected at Community Nexus to thousands of individuals who are ready and willing to work and haven't had the opportunity yet. And I'm talking about people of all different backgrounds, people of all abilities. I'm talking about single parents. I'm talking about veterans. I'm talking about people with mental health concerns, and it's an expanding group. So I just think if we shift perception a bit, it's easy to fill these gaps. Thank you both. So I want to ask Peter, we mentioned this before, but could you tell us a little bit about what housing has to do with workforce development?
Yeah, so, as environmental architect in housing and us at Future, we look through the lens of regenerative, healthy, and building at scale. So we know that housing's like interwoven. As Kristin kind of really says well, like there's no separation between your job and where you live. And so we're looking at it holistically. And I guess our crosshairs are on actually building a affordable housing panel factory in the Hudson Valley as like a seminal project. And we want to pioneer this and show that affordable housing is possible, but not only affordable, but healthy and safe and builds community. So, that's the dignity part of it. There's dignity in community. There's dignity in being having a good place to live next to where you work. If you don't have that, it's really stressful, and you can be kind of knocked out of opportunities. So opportunities come when you have healthy communities and housing. So we're excited to just, it's a tough nut to crack, which is, we're also using new materials, bio-based materials, carbon capture materials, and even innovative energy systems. So this will create like an industry lift, which means jobs. So they're very connected. So we'll talk more about that, the interconnectedness. And
You answered my next question. Could you tell us what's one thing that you're really excited about, or one innovation in your industry that you'd like people to learn about today?
Oh, well, today we got swag. We got some show and tell. So we have a lot of industrial hemp products. So we're pioneering this, and we even have Dennis is here, and we found out like a lot of our speakers today are going to be talking about this circular economy and this powerful plant, which is an industrial plant, very, very prevalent in America for hundreds of years, but got kind of muddled up with a THC product, which it's not. So we have this beautiful hempcrete prefabricated wall systems, which is healthy, breathable, fire resistant, carbon capture, and it also is it's something that you feel good in. It's actually a really amazing experience. We always say in our group, like, once you stay in a hempcrete home, you get it. So it's like a womb, it's very, very connected to a peaceful environment. And it actually has a lot of sound attenuation too. So as an architect, I just kind of fell in love with this product and just learned about it recently. I'm really just a few years into understanding it. So today's a good day if you want to learn about a new rising industry with new materials, join us.
Thank you. I look forward to learning more about that. My next questions are for Adam and Joseph. If you could both address the question, what worries you most about the future of work? What's being tried, and is it working?
What worries me most, I don't think it's really a worry. I think it's something that we need to embrace, and that's the AI concept. It's no longer, it's coming. Talking to Assemblyman Beefin before this, it's here now. It really is. And I think it's something that we all need to embrace and we all need to learn about. I know New York State is planning to invest quite a bit into this concept as well, and also Dutchess County as well. I really think that was one of the main things. It's really not a worry concept though. It's something that we all should embrace with it. So.
Well said.
A lot like Adam said, it's not so much a worry, but something I've seen that could be a potential barrier is a lot of veterans coming out of the service, whether they've just recently discharged or they've been out for a while. They may not have the same credentials as somebody who went straight from high school to college and things like that. So what we're doing and have been doing to try to mitigate that and is to set them up for success when it comes to earning some credentials, whether it be CDLs, tech stuff. We were working with Dutchess Community College for any credential program that they offer, but aside from not a traditional degree. We will fund through the VETTAP program to help them gain some of these and become more employable in the community. So when they do go up for a position or an interview, they have some of that behind them to accent their skills that they have in the military.
Thank you. I'm wondering if there's anything on your mind, such as what's one policy shift that would make a difference in the work that you do?
As far as a policy shift, I think it's a great question because we work with federal grants, and then we work, as Joe and the MHA Dutchess Veterans Programs is a nonprofit. The federal grants is more policy, is more metrics with that as far as numbers and a set way of doing things. And if you don't do it that way, you can't do it that way. And then working with a nonprofit is a get it done type. Let's help them now. I think if we could incorporate that more in the federal level to give that leeway as far as services for vets, I think that really would be a game changer, personally on that.
Yeah, I think a big thing with grant funded, and we're extremely lucky to have been county funded at this level. It cut through a lot of the red tape that we were stuck dealing with when the employment program was federally administered. There was too many rules that the reporting took up most of our time and didn't really give us the opportunity to do the work that we needed to do. The parameters we were stuck with, there were very specific circumstances that we had to be in to be able to assist a veteran, and with all that stuff going on, it was almost impossible to help the large majority of the veterans that needed it. So now that the policy that we did change a couple of years ago now, and we're now continuing to build on, is moving from federally funded to the county funded, and that allows us to help basically any veteran that needs it, whether they are currently employed looking for an improvement or they're not employed at all or anything like that. There doesn't have to be a specific circumstance. If they're a qualifying veteran, then we can assist them. So.
Thank you. So before we move on to the next section, what would be one bold action, and I'd like to hear from everybody, what's one bold action we need right now that would make a difference in your work? I'll just start it with Jeff. And
contact your members of Congress and Senate and ask them not to cut Medicaid.
I have to echo that because that is the single most pressing issue we have at the moment is these potential cuts to Medicaid. So we really need everybody to raise their voice in advocacy on this and to get your family and your friends to as well, because these cuts could be devastating.
Check. Yeah. So I'm going to say educate yourself about these new industries that are being born right now, because I think they're going to be the catalyst for jobs, wealth, community, and a new way of looking at things, looking at the world like a framework. If we can change the framework, everything else changes. So education in these new building systems.
I would I would say, Kristin, what you said right before, the 7 most deadliest words or whatever, get that out of your vocabulary and embrace the change and understand that this is the future and we need to get on board with it. So.
I would like to see some type of standard of communication between agencies that offer synergistic services. Like it's been mentioned a couple of times already that housing, employment, all these things are intertwined issues, and fixing one thing can't exist without fixing all of them. So a standard of an agency that focuses on each one, just communicating better with each other. I think I'd like to see that.
Thank you so much, everybody. That was Jeff Fox, Randy Rios, Peter Van Geldern, Adam Roche, and Joseph Horesky.